I'm going to talk a bit about Michael Mordor. I know most of the people, certainly who I've seen in chat this morning, will know who it is that I'm talking about. But Michael has been supportive and inspiring and helpful all the way through my kind of certainly the adult portion of my mini painting journey. I've mentioned a few times really that I was a I was a gamer nerd as a child. I'm not going to claim that I was a painter back then. That would be giving myself too much credit. But that I really started painting again probably about 5 years ago maybe now. And it started off really with I had one or two minis lying around from other things. I think the first miniature that I actually painted, getting back into it, was a Reaper Bones miniature, which I think was because I'd seen Michael. This was during Michael Mordor's phase where he was painting. Well, I guess he's doing it again now, but he was painting Reaper miniatures every day and posting them up on Twitter. So I was seeing these, and that kind of inspired me in a sense to actually get back into it. So he's been part of my mini painting for a long time. And the first Reaper miniature that I attempted to paint went horrendously badly. I didn't have any of the right paints. I didn't really know how to treat Reaper Bones properly. I'm sure a lot of you will know that Reaper Bones kind of need to be, you need to treat them right to get good effect. So you need to make sure they get a good wash. You can't use paints that are too watered down because they don't like that kind of thing. All of those kind of things that I just had absolutely no idea about. But I saw this going on, and I was playing D&D, and I thought, oh, this would be great. I'll get some minis on the table. And yeah, as I say, that first miniature was just a catastrophe. It just looked horrendous. But I persevered, and I think a lot of that was to do with the fact that I was seeing Michael doing these every day. I kind of, building up a collection and a background. And the other thing, obviously, for those of you who know Michael will already know, is that he is incredibly generous and giving with his time. So if you have questions, if you, if you're trying to learn and grow yourself, he will give far more time than he can really spend looking after other people and helping them out. And yeah, he really kind of helped me with that. And it wasn't until after that point really that I discovered. So it's very helpful for me that Michael only lives about half an hour's drive away from me. So obviously I haven't seen him physically in a while because we're in lockdown, and I've only seen about 4 people in the last year. But before that, well, at one stage I was going around to see him every couple of weeks. At other times it's been sort of once a month, things like that. But that was kind of before I knew that he was that close, and he was really helpful, spending a lot of time with me. One of the first miniature of his that we have in this house is actually my wife got. So Michael, again, I'm sure a lot of people know this, Michael was a chef in a previous life, not like in a reincarnation kind of a way, just before he was a professional mini painter, and he made some jam. I'm now struggling to remember. I think it was plum jam that he made, and he just put on Twitter that he had far too much of this jam, and did anybody want any? So my wife said, that would be amazing. I'd love some jam. So she got sent some jam, and he sent with it a little mouseling miniature, which lives on my wife's desk to this day. So it's still there that she got this with the jam. So that was like the first miniature of his that we got in the house. I do have a couple of other minis that he's painted that I'll show you in just a minute. But yeah, so that was kind of the first experience of seeing the painting live and in person. But obviously, my name on here and in other places is the Goblin Squire, and that is a testament really to how much Michael has helped me because he's obviously the Goblin King. So my kind of Goblin Squire title comes from the fact of how much he's helped me, how much he's inspired me. When I was first putting together my Patreon, which was quite a long time ago now, he was so helpful in terms of everything there, giving me advice on everything from costs to what he'd found people liked from a Patreon to all sorts of different things. And yeah, I honestly, I think that without his help and support, there's no way I would be here chatting to you in front of a camera this morning. Or at least if I were, it would be nothing to do with mini painting, because it was his influence that got me into mini painting, got me keeping going with mini painting. And yeah, just being able to sit there across a table from him, both of us painting, having a nice chat about nonsense, but kind of learning some of those things from him was amazing. So yeah, it's hard for me to overstate how much influence he's had on my mini painting journey. So if by some chance you are here, whether watching live or on catch up, and you don't know who Michael Mordor is, I would strongly recommend checking him out. You can find him, he has a Patreon as well, which you can join from just $1. I think it still is. I support him a little bit more than that for everything he's done for me. Seems only fair. But yeah, search out Michael Mordor, Goblins of Mordor. It's well worth a look. As I say, he's so giving with his time that you can learn an immense amount. Plus, there's an awesome community. You can, if you are part of his Patreon, you can join a Discord server, which is, I mean, it has a lot of people in it at this point, and lots of different people to learn from. And grow from, not just from Michael, but from everybody else. But yes, he's he never stops giving, really, which is an amazing quality in someone who is self-employed to do this stuff and is using mini painting as his income and everything else. So as I say, I think he's kind of been the influence on me all the way through everything that I'm doing. So his do check that out if you haven't already. I will show you a couple of quick. Quickly, I will show you a couple of miniatures that he's painted. I have, so I'm going to switch camera for that. Let's go to this one. There we are. So I have here. This is the first mini that I received from Michael, which is, I think I won in a contest actually. I won in a giveaway. And I'd forgotten because I've had it for a long time. But he wrote a little message on the base for me as well. So this is a giant that he painted up. Yeah, and you can see there, it's a lovely miniature. Again, it's a Reaper Bones mini, but look at this. Look what he wrote on the bottom for me. Oh, what a lovely guy. Yeah, it's really good to see that the Goblin community continues to inspire all kinds of people. I think now the number of people in the Discord and in the community generally means that it's a kind of ongoing inspirational kind of cycle, really, which is great. And so all those people that Michael inspired are now helping to inspire other people, and obviously he's still a massive part of that, but it means that there are lots of people there who can do it. Good morning, Geek Curio. Love to see you, Andy. I'm just talking about Michael Mordor and how wonderful he is. Which would be of no surprise to you, but there you are. Yeah, so this is the first miniature that I received from him with that lovely message on the bottom. And also about, we're talking about how inspirational not just Michael is, but the community that he's created. This is the second miniature that I got from him, which again is a lovely Reaper Bones mini. And yeah, so his painting is fantastic. I realised actually everything that I've said about Michael and how inspirational he is and everything, I've said very little about his painting, but obviously a lot of that stems from the fact that his painting is fantastic. And I think one of the things that always amazes me about Michael's painting is he can paint to an incredibly high standard. I've seen some of the things that he's like entered for competitions and things like that, which are just fantastic and beautiful. But also the speed at which he can paint good miniatures is just amazing. So you'll know that I've been painting a mini a day this year, which is kind of in association with Michael and the Goblins of Mordor as well. But we compared numbers at one point, and I think at the end of January I painted about 40 miniatures for the year, and I think he'd painted something like 200, and they're all to an amazingly good quality. Like these ones that he's painted here, I'm sure were painted very, very quickly, but you'd never know it looking at them, which is, yeah, again, is just an amazing thing to be able to do. So yeah, there we are. We'll go back to this for a minute, and then we'll change some. Yeah, there you go. So chat is saying, based on some of the numbers that he was talking about at one point, Michael averages about 75 or more miniatures every month. And I suspect that's probably just for his patrons and things like that, because he's his patron, he sends miniatures out to people, which is great. And yeah, I mean, just the concept of being able to do that. Yeah, so there we go. 75 or more minis every month just for his patrons, plus any that he finds time somehow to do for himself. Yeah, it's pretty mind-boggling, and his work ethic is amazing as well. I drag myself out of bed for this 10 o'clock stream, get some coffee going, and then blag it for a while. And he'll send messages to the Discord at 4 in the morning when he's just starting painting, and it really is. A lot of it comes from it. You can see there's a joy in what he does, which is fantastic, and he just wants to see other people kind of succeed and grow from there, which is great.